What's up? What's up? What's up? What's good, everybody? You have found your way right on back to WoT In Color, the dopest Black woman hosted podcast for the preeminent one and only Wheel of Time series. I am Keba.
And I am Shar.
Jumbo Boo.
Jumbo, my sister. I
don't know. Was that the NFL theme? Anyway, hi.
Hey, boo, hey.
Welcome back, listener, friend listeners. If you got the what's up in the beginning, come see me at JordanCon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I hope you saw me at JordanCon.
Yeah, that already happened.
Right, already happened.
By the time y'all hear this, we would have been,
partooking, I'm going to say, in the
partooking. We
Listen,
make up words here in WoT In Color.
If Young Miami can flew you out, you can get
flued out.
You can get flued out. You can partooking in some things too.
Okay.
But welcome back. How was your week, Shar?
My week was busy.
Yeah.
I
hear you.
I have a new position at work, so.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm busy. Right now, like literally, let's hurry up because I need to go to bed.
Listen, so with that being said, let's bring back our resident sister.
Yes! CallMeNakomi.
What's up? How y'all doing?
I see the key in the locker well oiled for you, my sister.
Yes.
Always.
Don't
Y'all
you don't even have to.
Y'all don't hear me coming in at night.
Yeah,
No,
I was like,
we
you don't
wake
even
up, I'm
have
on
to
the
let us
couch.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you came through?
What you sipping on today?
Right.
Okay.
I'm making
right,
eggs in the morning. What's going on?
I know that's right.
Is it cheese grits? Because I like my eggs with some cheese grits now.
Cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape.
I know.
Conversate for a few, because in a few
Listen.
we going to do. All right, now we
can't do it today.
yeah, we on a time crunch today. But before we thank you always, CallMeNakomi, for
Thank you for having me. Anytime.
Blessing
coming.
us.
Yes,
with your presence.
absolutely. But before we get into this episode, we just want to show some appreciation.
Let's go.
To those dope souls out there who have
I
subscribed
think this is my favorite part.
to us
Yes.
on Patreon.
Yes,
oh my gosh. Thank you. And so you all get a special shout out.
Out.
Gorjo, Aradia Farmer, Koala Sadai, Lumen, More Shady, Mistress Dovey,
Yes.
Goat Brother,
Yes,
Melissa
yes,
J,
yes.
Miss Key, Rob Christensen,
Yes.
Dr. Talib Hudson,
Hey, Doctor.
Jesus Lord, Bane and Chia, and Mount Care Talks. Thanks for joining Team WoT In Color.
Yes, y'all are the bomb.
Bomb.com.
We are still working on them tiers. So,
we
please
got
remember
y'all.
to go fill out the form to let us know how we can best serve you while you support us.
Yes.
This is a mutually beneficial relationship, and we want to make sure we are giving the people what they want.
Getting people what they want.
Give the people what they want.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Well, let's get into it.
Yes.
So last week,
Yeah.
we were talking about chapters. We ended in chapter 16. And I just need to make a little correction. If anybody noticed this little blooper, this little on-air blooper that happened. So last week, I don't know if you all recall, listeners, last week Keba learned that the Amaryllis seat is the equivalent of a king or queen. She is the leader of the Aes Sedai. And Keba learned this from reading the glossary. And in the glossary, it states that the Amaryllis seat is elected by the Hall of the Tower. And the Hall of the Tower consists of 3 representatives from each of the 7 Ajas. Mm-hmm. Not even minutes later, like literally like a few seconds later, Keba was saying, I wonder how the Amaryllis seat gets elected. How does one become the Amaryllis seat?
Right.
And then we rayfoed her.
Wow.
That's what happens.
Just wanted to rayfo me, but that's cool.
No, that's what happens when you record a podcast on no sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the lesson, boys and girls and everyone else,
take care of yourself.
Please. Self-care.
Adequate sleep.
Yes.
8 hours at a minimum.
Because how did we forget just a few seconds ago that your question was already answered?
Yeah.
And you asked the question.
And I did. And you know what? I didn't sleep either. Where was my brain? Not present.
So yeah, we just wanted to let y'all know that we're not crazy.
No, we're not. We're just tired.
We're just tired. We're just tired. And yes. So for this week, we're talking about chapters 17 and 18. And since you are officially just a part of us, CallMeNakomi.
That's right.
You want to give the recap this week?
Yes.
Officially do. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Also, you're quite welcome.
All right, so we're going to start off with chapter 17, which is Watchers and Hunters. So where we left off, basically in chapter 16, we just ended with the big confrontation between Moraine and Nynaeve. And while Rand was waiting outside the room, basically, for them to come out, he didn't really notice that the rest of the guys had went downstairs. So after they came out, he decided to head downstairs to the common room also. So he makes his way down there, and when he gets down there, it's crowded with people, and they're all listening to Tom. And he's telling the famous stories of the Great Hunt of the Horn again. But people keep on coming out for it because it's great, and it's Tom. Rand joins Matt and Perrin on a bench, and Tom is currently working through several of the stories of the hunt. But some of the characters that he mentioned was Blaze of Matuchin, Rogel Eagle Eye, Guido Kane, and Buyad of Aldahane. And there are, as he said, there are many stories inside of the Great Hunt of the Horn, and it would take like a week or something basically to tell the whole entire thing straight. So it makes sense why people keep coming back to listen to him tell the different stories. I'm not sure what happens between the stories, but he says it's quiet, but I could imagine that there's people, snapping in between him, basically telling the stories. But when he's done, he decides to pick up a flute, and because it's time for music, basically, and everybody's excited and waiting for it. And Tom is there ready to get his basically Teddy Riley on. Two guys start exactly. Two guys join him on the stage. One guy has a drum. The other one has a hammered dulcimer, which I don't know if y'all know what that is. It's basically like a steel guitar where you sit down and you play it, but he plays it with like little tiny drums, kind of like not a xylophone.
Like a xylophone?
A xylophone. That's what, yeah. I wasn't sure if it was a xylophone. Yeah. So everyone is excited, and basically he plays "The Wind That Shakes the Willow," which is a very popular song. Like "Before I Get Let Go," everybody knows the words and starts to sing along.
Okay.
But the next song that he plays after that one is called "One Bucket of Water," which is very jovial, and all the people basically are ready to start to dance. So they start clearing away all the chairs and tables, make a dance floor, and the walls are shaking after no time. The walls are shaking basically, and I'm in my head I'm seeing like House Party with the house basically blowing up and flying off into space. How hot that party is basically.
Wow.
And so basically the new dancers take the floor after that first spin, and Rand and Perrin basically jump to join in and leave Matt at the table basically holding the purses and drinks at the table like any group of women basically have done.
Yo, I hate to be that person, the one that gotta hold everybody's stuff while everyone else having fun.
It's me.
You snooze,
Yeah, I'm that person too. I'm that person at the amusement park too. Like y'all want to get on
y'all want to get on
all
that
the
ride?
rides.
All right, I'll hold
everybody's bag.
I didn't care for no dudes, grinding up against me from behind. So
I know that's right.
I'll watch y'all drinks. So anyway, the girl across from Rand, as they line up in the Soul Train line, basically winks at him, and
Not the Soul Train line.
and he's like, she ain't as shy as she looks, and they basically dance a reel, which is basically you dance with a partner, and then y'all switch, and then you dance with another partner, and his next partner is basically a servant maid, and she is looking straight like New Jack City. She's dancing wild, she's pumping, she's flapping her apron all over the place, and so everyone he thought was basically laughing and having a great time, except for one man that he sees basically at the fireplace, and the guy has a really long, crazy looking scar from one temple all the way to the opposite jaw of his face. It's kind of messed up his nose. And Rand thought he must be, I'd be mad too if my face looked like that. So basically he's dancing with like three more women, then back to the original girl. And she winks at him again. And he was like, with her, basically I'm thinking to myself, look, with her fast ass just winking at every single dude she sees. Is like, I'm like, my mama warned me about girls like that. Basically, I fucking me on the club floor. It's not a good girl. It's not a good one. So
don't bring her home. She gonna give you a baby.
That part. You never get to get home first.
Mama
that
told
happened
me
in the back of the
one
wagon.
day it was gonna happen, but she never told me when. Oh,
Make love in this club.
oh snap!
So he
can't.
realizes the man was still scowling at him, and it made him nervous. So Rand thought it was him staring at him that made the man upset, and that went on, that all basically went away when he realizes who his next partner was, and it was Nynaeve, and that distracted the hell out of him. He was shook, and he started to stumble, almost tripped, and nearly stepped all over her feet. And she was She was graceful though, with her dancing. And in parting, she said, "I thought you were a better dancer." And I was like, "Damn!" She basically just got him on the way off. So and one partner later, out of nowhere, basically Moraine is his partner, and so he was even worse with her, but. She was smooth and glided across the floor very, very gracefully also. And also, he almost fell twice. But she gave him a "you tried" smile, basically, as she left. And the next one was Egwene, which obviously they've danced before, but they were still on bad terms, so it was very cold. He noticed that she had gathered her hair in the back of her neck with a red ribbon, so he was like, she couldn't decide. That's in his mind. It was like almost like she couldn't decide what to do with her hair, to braid it or not to braid it, or rather, which woman is she trying to please? I say when in doubt, do box braids. You could wear it up, you could wear it down, or maybe a 2-strand twist. You could basically go out. Exactly.
Go
I got knotless in my hair right now.
There you go. Never go wrong. Never go wrong. So anyway, they're still cold to each other, and neither wanted to speak first. And went back to the bench after they danced their final jig, and he went back, and basically Matt immediately jumped up and took his turn on the floor, and Perrin sat down too. And he's like, "You wouldn't believe who I danced with." And Rand was like, "Moraine," and Perrin said Nynaeve, and he was like, "You danced with Moraine?" And so they couldn't believe it at first, basically, but they didn't even think about whether or not Nynaeve ever danced before. And I was like, it goes to show you never know, what your teachers and principals get down to. You see the Freaknik documentary on Hulu.
Snap! No, you didn't.
Or in the club. You never know what they get onto or what's been in their past.
I just want to say that I am so grateful that 30 years ago, I never attended Freaknik.
Oh, I thought she was about to put a disclaimer out.
I never attended. Never went. I heard about it. I heard what happens. And I'm like, nah, I'm good.
And
look, here we are. Documentary coming out. And everybody in my age range is shook right now. Shooketh.
Because where's the footage coming from? Who the op?
People had camcorders.
No, I know that, but who the op? Who turned over all that footage?
There's a lot of footage
people was
too.
documenting and saving it for posterity. Let's just say, I'm not gonna name no names, but I know somebody who's basically, concerned.
A little nervous.
There have been some videos coming out of people posting disclaimers. Like, listen, so I went to this Freaknik thing, and I just want you to know that I was young,
right?
And blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow, you telling yourself you might not even be one of that.
Might listen.
This situation has everybody turning into release form professionals,
right?
Privacy law professionals, basically just preparing for what goes going on. There's actually like a lawsuit right out here right now with 5 women suing the documentary producers, basically prominent people down here in Atlanta. And
I've heard. But anyway, let's get back.
We digress.
Yes.
He wondered. Rand wondered what would the women in the women's circle say, and I'm just like, that's messed up. That basically they would judge her, but. So it happens. And he realized the man was still staring at them. The party went on into the night. The maids finally remembered that they actually had a job to go do, so they went back to go do it. Rand got his lick back, though, with Moraine and Nynaeve getting to dance with them again when he joined the dance floor. He danced better, and when they complimented him, he started to stammer, so he got a little nervous and, bashful. And he got to dance with Egwene together, but it was still very cold and very bad reception. Moraine left after a while, and then Egwene decided to, she looked between both Nynaeve and Moraine and decided to go up after Moraine. And Nynaeve basically decided to stay for one more dance. Just basically.
She was like, just cause y'all going to bed don't mean I gotta go to bed. I do what I want because I'm
Basically.
grown.
Yeah.
I don't have to follow behind no Aes Sedai.
Exactly.
That's what she said.
And she looked pleased that she outlasted the Aes Sedai, basically. Like, she scored a point. Like, boom, I got one. And so then Tom decided to pack it up. It was time for him to shut down the band and go home, basically. Lan came over to the boys and told them that they were leaving early in the morning, so get some rest. Matt mentioned the guy that was staring at them, and Lan said he saw him too, and said that was a spy for the White Cloaks. So, so pay him no mind. And so
Not the White Cloaks. We renamed them.
Oh,
they are
sorry.
The Israelite white.
the
Israelite
whites. I gotta remember that.
Yes.
The Israelite
Yep.
whites. Okay. So the Israelite whites, but to pay them no mind. Tom was done, so he basically headed up with them. But Rand was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get some milk. It'll help me sleep. So Lan was like, all right, stay close though, because my spidey sense is tingling, and basically it sounds like there's trouble around. So something's wrong tonight. So stay close. And so he's like, okay, goes to the kitchen, comes out with some milk, and he leans up trying to drink the milk, and then sees a shape of dull black approaching. Pale hands, pasty eyeless face, cloak doesn't move. It's a Murdral. And Rat does a spit take with the milk. And it asks, are you one of them? Are you one of them, boy? Rand was scared and couldn't even run or scream. It came closer, asked where the others were, but stopped hearing boots approaching. It pulled out a sword and swung down, but stopped short, saying, you belong to the great Lord of the Dark. You are his. And then it left down the hall just before Lan came crashing down the stairs with sword in hand. Rand told him that it was a fade, and he didn't even think that he had his own sword because he was so scared and shook. He didn't even pull it. Lan said he could feel it fading away, so it's going away from the inn, but said, we're leaving right now, sheepherder. Everyone else stumbled down basically moments later with all this stuff and Rand stuff, basically, and Lan says it knows where we are now, so we gotta go. And Tom says he'll keep riding with them because people know I came with you guys, so I ain't trying to stay around for that. Moraine was...
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. I'm so sorry.
No.
When the Fade spoke to him, it wasn't a question. He made the statement. He said, "You are one of them, boy."
Oh, okay. Sorry, I read it.
The Fade said, "Yeah,
You are one of them boys.
Yeah.
He's basically just saying
one of them, boy." He was calling Rand boy.
One of them,
boy.
comma, boy.
Right. You're one of them.
English.
Right.
Yeah. So the Fade knew, and it was like, "I got you."
Right. You're one of them.
I got you.
Caught you.
You're one of them.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. Cool catch.
So Tom was like, "I'm rolling with y'all."
Right. Tom was like, I'm leaving with you guys. Moraine is busily telling the innkeeper to take her warning seriously, that he will have trouble, maybe from dark friends or worse. Don't make a fuss. Just say we're gone and you don't know where we went, and don't make a fuss. Just say we're gone. It's us we're after. And he, not listening, was just like, don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry about it. And so she's just like, he's stupid. But they gotta go. They have places to be, and they leave. And Moraine says that dark friends can be found in shops and streets in every city, and even on the highest councils too. And Nynaeve decides to actually come with them, convinced that there is something after them. But she came to see them also back home safely, back in Emmons Field. So Rand thinks to himself about what men said, that they are all part of it. In that moment, he decides to apologize to Egwene. He goes to her and says that I've been stupid. And she basically doesn't say nothing. She just grabs his hand, and it's basically this embrace hands for a while. And as they ride away, he turns back and notices that very bitter guy at the gate,
stableman,
basically is watching them go and watches them as they head down. So he's just like, he's very suspect of much. So
much gonna snitch.
Much gonna definitely snitch.
Yeah.
They basically head down the streets towards the Cayman Gate, and when they get there, Land starts to bang on the door. The watchman appears and it's like, "We're not opening the door for nobody to come in or go out this time of the night." And he basically, he thought that they were.
I just want to
go ahead.
I just want to clarify something for Makeba. I don't know if you noticed. So they're leaving from the Cayman Gate. It's not the same gate that they use to come into the city.
They're using the back exit.
So they have to continuously go east.
Yeah.
So they're using the gate that faces east
On the Cayman Road.
So the town is walled all around. So they have different gates.
Yeah.
So the direction that they need to go, they're using that gate, which is not the same gate that they used when they were coming from Bear Lawn.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. Anytime. So Land bangs his fist on the door until the watchman appeared. He thought that they were mad to want to leave during the night. He said, but once Land pulled out the money, he was open for business. He yelled a couple of guys to come and help him
That's all it
open.
takes, right?
It's all it takes. It's a little bit of gold glitting in his hand, basically. He yelled for a couple of guys to come and help him open the gate. But then here comes the Israelite whites, led by Lord Bornhold himself. He wants to know who's leaving at this time of the night with wolves and the Dark One's handiwork flying over the town. So Rand immediately notices that as a drag car has been seen over Barrelon. The watchmen stop and then start opening the gate, basically trying to decide what he's going to do between.
They don't know what to do.
And the Israelites,
like, we already got the money though.
And exactly. And Bornhall wants to take them to his camp for questioning because he's just like, only dark friends would want to leave at this time of the night. And Moraine is like, you want to take me to your camp? You got the wrong one. So basically she moved back in the shadows when they were approaching, but then slowly walked back forward. And with what I'm taking as a direct quote from the book, "You want to romp with me?" That's what she said.
Right.
That's what she said. That's exactly
what she said.
Direct quote from the book.
Literally.
Yes.
So
Verbatim.
she appeared to grow with every single step that she stepped forward. And in no time, she appeared as tall as Rand. And Bornhold yelled, "I Sedai," and raised what he, realizing what she was. Then he pulled out his sword and he slashes and she stops it with her staff, flinging him back into his mates and knocking them all down. And his blade actually melted into two, hissing in the steam. And now she was at the height of the town wall. And Lan told everyone to go. So they all rode through as fast as they could out the gate. And when they stopped, they looked back and Moraine was so big, she actually stepped over the wall. But then as soon as she was outside, she was back to her normal height. And the watchman was just like, I don't want no parts of it. And they kept on closing the gate until it just went bang. So then Egwene was all like mesmerized, like, oh my God, like you were as tall as a giant. And then Moraine was like, oh, is that what you saw? And she was like,
Was I?
You sure?
She's like, the mind plays tricks in the night and the eye sees what is not there. Land
sound like the ghetto. Was it the Ghetto Boys?
I would be wild.
My mind playing tricks.
Right. Exactly. I would be like, ma'am. So I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
So I didn't see what I thought I saw. No.
Oh, child.
So Land leads them east down the Camelin Road, and Matt looks back and notices that he sees a fire, and they all figure that it's probably the Stag and Lion. They wanted Moraine to go back and help the innkeeper, but she can't. She's just like, there's not so much that I could even do if I went back, and Land can't take care of all of you by himself, and if we all go back, we're going to get caught. So it is what it is.
Oof. Choices.
Yeah. So they continue on, and Rand basically is hoping that Min's okay. And Matt talked about he thought that they were finally safe and wonders if they ever would be safe again. And that's the end of that chapter 17.
Just one little thing I want us to note: when the Israelite whites came up on them, and right before Moiraine made herself as tall as a giant,
Allegedly,
because your mommy playing tricks on you. I just want to note that Lord Bornhall recognized Rand.
Yes.
And he basically
Right.
was like, see, I'm about to save you. I'm about to save you.
You lucky.
Because he knew, this is the cat from earlier who was, bugging out or whatever. And then that's when Maureen was like, you gonna take me to your camp? Israelite white? That's a direct quote. That's from the thing.
Exactly.
That's in there.
Yeah. So that was a lot. That was a whole lot. I think, I don't know, Keba. I want to know what you're thinking, Keba, before we move on to chapter 18. Do you have any thoughts about the, first of all, let's go to Keba's predictions.
Keba's Asinine predictions. I've been practicing, y'all. That one sounded better to me. From
the last time. So actually 2 episodes ago, episode 7, you said that the Israelite whites will somehow find out that Maureen is an Aes Sedai.
Yeah, look at me.
Look at you.
Improving my percentage.
So we are going to put that correct. For those of you who are wondering, we have a spreadsheet.
Shar has a spreadsheet.
There is a spreadsheet.
Keba has notes.
Keba has lots of notes.
Post-its.
There is a spreadsheet. And one of the Patreon tiers, you will have access to Keba's prediction spreadsheet very soon.
It's equipped with pivot charts or pivot tables and all of that. So all of you,
it has one pivot table.
Listener friend listeners who love a good pivot table, you should be prepared to see that.
Okay. Thoughts?
So that was a lot that happened. A couple of things caught my eye. Sorry, I don't have my iPad today, so you're gonna hear the book as I flip through it. One of the things that raised my eye, and if I can find it, Tom, Mr. Gleeman, extremely obsessed with the Great Hunt, has been telling this story ever since they hit town, and I'm curious as to why. I don't know if I had to take an educated guess. I think it's a little bit deeper than this is just his favorite story. And he likes to, talk about the Great Hunt, particularly because, I don't know, the next book is called The Great Hunt, maybe. But there is some connection with Tom and the Great Hunt. I don't know what that connection may be. Maybe he is, I don't know, from or a descendant of or something. But there is something with the Great Hunt and Tom that makes me go, this is a little deeper than, I just like telling this story. It's fun.
So is this a prediction?
Oh, yeah, we can slap that down. Sure.
Okay, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, because I feel
I'm going to offer a counterpoint, though. I'm writing it down as a prediction. But stop looking at me like that. Oh, my God. Yeah. Keba is... I can't even look at the Zoom because you're on the Zoom, too. So I'm just going to offer a counterpoint. Tom is an entertainer.
Yeah.
And Tom knows what the people want.
Give them what they want.
Give the people what they want. They want to hear the Great Hunt a million times, then he's going to give them the Great Hunt a million times.
I didn't see anything about anybody requesting to hear about the Great Hunt.
That's because that was off camera. That was off.
So I'm supposed to just assume
that's what they asked for.
Somebody off scene was like, give us the Great Hunt one more time.
Yep.
And he was like, again?
Well, I don't believe
okay,
you.
Fine.
Right. He's like, I actually hate this story.
But and then Rand noted in his thoughts, since we were in his head, that the Great Hunt had so many stories that it's possible to tell the story of the Great Hunt and it'd be a different story every time you tell it.
Okay, but why? You can literally tell any other story. That's
what they want.
He is a glee. I don't believe the people were like, what you got in your satchel? The Great Hunt? Tell us that one. I don't believe it. Because
well,
I feel like
with the people...
The way that we were introduced to Tom, right? He was very crotchety. Oh, I hate the 2 rivers. It stinks over here. Why y'all got no food? It's just cold. Where's your crops? You ain't got no fresh strawberries? Like, I like wine. Right? And so, like, I feel like we would have direct quotes. This is what we're doing, right?
That's direct quotes. From earlier.
He said strawberry and champagne. Right. So one of these is missing. And so I feel like
Wait, is Tom one of those divas like when they come to
The
do
writer,
their concert?
yes. Oh,
And you gotta
baby.
have in the green room you have to have only
peanut M&Ms
and Perrier.
But
the green
all my
ones.
sandwiches must be cut diagonally with no crust.
and no crust. And I want half a quarter of mayonnaise. And if there's any more, send it back. You
Half
send
a
it
quarter
back.
of mayonnaise.
Half a quarter.
Why does that sound gross to me?
Because
Blue
mayonnaise.
Rabbit mayonnaise.
That's why.
You only sell in one state of the
why.
country.
You want a dollop of mayonnaise.
It only belongs in like tuna
Chills.
salad or something.
Oh, okay. I'm a Miracle Whip girl through and through.
Yeah,
I don't rock
you
with
like
the
that
helmets
sweet
too
stuff?
hard.
The sweet Miracle Whip.
That is a problem, but
Okay, let's go back.
Yeah,
All
here we go. Because I'm about to
Mayonnaise.
start waxing poetically about fucking Miracle Whip. Like, why am I so fat today? Why am I so fat?
We have
Anyway.
issues.
So I feel like if this was a story that Tom did not like to tell or did not have any personal connection to or whatever have you, Tom would have been like, I'm telling this fucking story again. You gonna get the story of this green Asinine that I met when I was in Tarvalon that one time on spring break, right? That's the story you gonna get. I'm not telling this story no more. I told it yesterday. If you wasn't here yesterday, guess what? You lost.
SOL.
You lose.
I just
nothing.
feel like as an entertainer who want to make their bread, they just gonna give the people what they want. They not gonna scoff
And I
at
feel
them
like
if they keep
Tom,
asking for
as
the
a
same
human
thing.
You think New Edition wants to perform Candyman all the time?
Yes.
Candy girl.
Candy girl. Yes, and I do. Now, as for Bobby Brown, maybe not.
No, because Bobby be tired.
Bobby be tired.
Have you seen
People
him?
Like, there's choreography to Candy Girl. I don't want to do it.
Yo.
I don't want to.
He moves
Yo,
less
I don't
than
want to
Mariah
hit
Carey
a two-step.
on the stage.
Yo, shout out to all the members of New Edition.
Every
We love
last
you, Bobby.
one of them.
We love you, Bobby Brown. But I'm gonna need you to work on your cardio because
Baby, he don't give a two. Listen, he don't give 2 or 3 shits.
I saw them last year
Baby, he was
for my birthday,
tired.
and he was so tired. He was so tired. He looked like he had just learned the steps, and he was just going
Sweaty.
through them
Them the same steps since 1987.
since 1985, son.
Yeah.
The same ones, because
steps.
I've been a
Yeah,
fan.
we can do them
were
too.
blurred.
We're
Right.
doing right with them.
Come on. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. Let's get back to the wheel time.
So
Well,
Tom
that's my
performing the
story,
Great
and
Hunt
I'm-
again.
Yeah, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I feel like
I will add it to the prediction sheet, and we will see whether
feel
it's
like
correct or
There's a
not.
reason
Tom is
why
like,
he's
nah,
performing
it's
it
Is there a
often.
reason why he's doing it back to back like that?
Okay.
So we're gonna in a prediction, right? Write this down.
Yes, ma'am.
I
got
think
my
that
pen.
we are going to learn the truth of these stories in the next book. I mean, come on, the next book is literally called The Great Hunt. So we're definitely gonna delve deeper into these stories. The bargain of Rogash Eagle Eye and Leanne Stand and the fall of Aelith L'Oreal and RJ, hi, can you please with these names? Gaidel Kane's sword and the last ride of Buad and Albine. Doobie doobie doo.
Doobie doobie doo.
Yeah, I'm most interested to learn of Blaze
Blaze.
Blaze of Matuchin.
Blaze of Matushin. She sounds like a real one.
Okay.
Because since the day of her birth, she had the dark one marked. Or the dark one had her marked, I should say. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to learn about her in the next book. I feel like she's like a niece, descendant, or something of the Gleeman. I don't know. There's some connection there that he's just like, I miss home. Let me tell these stories a million times over. There's
Okay.
something there. So if I get into my themes a little bit, right? Here's a little fun, quick one.
Okay.
So when the boys were doing their little 2-step on the Soul Train line,
Right.
and homegirl was giving Rand a little winky eye, it made me think about the art of the flirt,
Ow.
right?
Mm.
So I want to ask y'all, how do you flirt, or how do you get the attention of someone that you know has captured your retina?
Let me tell you something. I'm so corny. First of all, I flirt. So the problem with me is I flirt with everybody. Whether I'm interested in, I'm just a natural flirt. So I don't have to actually want to pursue you or want you to pursue me because I'm really a shy person. I'm an outgoing shy person. So I think I like being chased instead of me being
that
the
attention,
one. I think I do.
that desire
Yeah.
to be desired.
Yeah, I think I like that.
Yeah.
So even if I may not even want you to want me, but if the opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna flirt because I'm awful.
I'm an awful flirt as well.
Yeah.
Well, maybe no, because you didn't say you were an awful flirt. You just said you're awful.
I'm awful because I'll flirt with
You'll
anybody.
flirt with anybody, and
Yeah.
I'm just an awful flirt.
Like, you cannot take me seriously. If I flirt with you, please don't take me seriously.
She joking.
So we record. So this recording is happening before JordanCon. You're gonna hear this after JordanCon. So if you have seen me at JordanCon and I flirted with you,
She was just joking?
It's just all love. It's just all love.
Email us and let's confirm that first, because I feel like there might be some people who you're like, yum yum delicious.
Unless you are known as Will Alcine.
Oh, is this a
Hey, boo,
call
hey.
out?
Deep cut.
Is this a call? Hello, somebody.
Hey, Colin, how you doing?
Hello, somebody. Wow.
The world knows I have a crush on you, Colin.
Well,
So,
the
that's
DMs
different.
are open.
That's different. I'll flirt with Colin all day and I'll mean it. 100% of the time.
As she twirls her hair, very Egwene style.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She over here twiddling her braid, if you will. Twiddling her braid. Mm-hmm.
I hope I saw you last week at JordanCon, Colin.
I hope I saw you with your fine
With
ass.
your fine ass.
I'm sure she went across the
sorry.
dance floor a couple times.
Listen, we gonna give an update. We got to give an update.
Oh my God.
We gotta see if we can do a live recording or something.
We gotta get you know what though? Honestly, or no bullshit. You know, my crush aside, we should see if we can get Colin on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd
That
be dope.
ought to be fun.
To get Colin on the show. So that's the goal. So y'all heard it here first.
That's right.
We trying to get Colin on the show.
Hi, Colin.
So those of y'all who know Colin, I mean I know Colin, but you know,
Come on down
let
to
Colin know
WoT In Color
that WoT In Color has an open
home.
invite
Yeah.
for Colin on the show.
He ain't got no key, but you can ring the doorbell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Ring the bell. We home.
Ring the bell. We got the ring. We'll see it. Come on the phone.
Yeah,
oh, that's Colin. Let him in.
We got you. I cannot with you.
Or your brother. When I see your fine ass brother.
Oh, Keba's brother. My brother. Oh, see.
Yeah,
you know
I flirt with him
what?
all the time. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really I think your brother's really cute. I'm not interested in your brother.
My brother is an attractive dude.
Not interested in your brother. I love flirting with him because he's just so incredibly cute. He's gorgeous.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous.
It
So,
is-
so you've seen me flirt in person.
Oh, yes, I have.
It's so
Wait,
funny.
No, it's awful. No, your flirting is really bad.
I make like dad jokes when I flirt. Like it's horrible.
No,
It's so funny.
CallMeNakomi. No, she will flirt with my brother. Okay, so
No,
listen to
I get
friend
the flirt with the brother,
listeners.
but dad jokes?
Yeah, no, I'm a cornball.
She is
No, I
so
feel
corny.
it. I feel it.
She is so corny. So, okay, listen to friend listeners. I have a person in my life who is my very best friend. I call him my brother. That's not my actual brother. So when I say yes, he's attractive, I'm not ill. That's my best friend, right? And so Shar has met my best friend. And when she flirts with him, I don't even know if she's serious, because he will say something like, you know, I'm interested in being driven around, and Shar will be like, I just so happen to have a car, and it has gas in it, and I have a license,
and you need to let me take you for a ride,
and I can take you for a ride, and I in my head I hear, but it's just,
it's so corny. It's so corny,
like,
and it's funny.
gosh.
Everybody laughs though. It's hilarious.
and he's just like, okay. We're gonna have him on the show because he's watched the TV series.
Oh, awesome!
He's watched
this
the
is going to
show.
be different for him though. If he
likes
hasn't
the
read
show.
the books, this is going to be way different. But
when we start talking about the show,
then
oh my God, listen to friend listeners real quick. So Shar and I were having a discussion over Ethiopian because that's what we do, and she showed me the cast for the show.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I tell you I'm fitting a hunch land in real life,
Laniel, we call him Laniel because
Laniel?
Daniel Henney,
Daniel Henney,
who plays
Daniel
Laniel,
Honey.
what an
Daniel Honey. Yes.
What an attractive creature! Oh my
yes.
God!
Yes. Yes.
Wait for the first
Welcome.
episode.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome.
I'm fanning myself as we speak. That man is gone. I was like, oh shit.
Yes.
He's fine.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so I might have to sneak over and watch the first episode to get a lanyal fix, because what a casting decision that I am proud. I have never been more proud of anyone's casting decision. That is a beautiful man. And I want to thank the Wheel of Time team for introducing me to him, because I would have never known him otherwise. So, this is
Rafe and Company, thank you.
Wang Dang Doodle, because he is big fine para me.
Yes.
I was like, yikes.
Yes.
So I might sneak and watch the first episode. I heard it was safe. I've read beyond the first episode, so I might go sneak it, and we might do a little recap on episode 1, depending, on how I feel, but and how Shar feels, but something to look forward to. But that recap episode will just be me lusting.
Like you're doing right now.
Right now.
Like what you're doing. Exactly. So it'll be what we're doing right now, but for like lusting. 2 hours.
Yeah. And did you know he's not married, girl? He got no kids.
Is he?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Find out. I'm like,
I'm
wait, what?
literally going to find out.
I have to imagine that Daniel Henney has a family.
God, man.
I
do too. So, I'm not heartbroken, but gosh. Gosh.
All right. So what about you, Keba? You're flirting.
I'm really awful. I'm super bad. I'm way too direct to be flirtatious. And so I remember the days, when I met my now husband, and flirting with him was just very much like, hi. You look really good today. Did you know that? I'm telling you, because you look really good. Would you like to accompany me on a date? Like I cannot flirt. I can't flirt. I don't know. I think I'm just too forward, and I appreciate that about myself, because I don't got time. I just need to know. Like, we're not gonna be doing this little cutesy bootsy back and forth. He and also I don't think I'm girly. Like, I don't twirl my hair.
You mean like I was just doing a few minutes ago?
Yeah. At the mention of someone's name, I'm just gonna keep it. But I don't do those things. I don't like and like rub knees and gently pat shoulders and laugh at not funny jokes. I'm very like, wow, hello, my name is Makeba. You are rather attractive.
Would you like to have children?
Like to come. No,
damn.
I don't go that far. I do not go that far.
Would you like me to have your babies?
But I would like, wow, can we go on a date? I would like to get to know you better. And it's either a yes or a no, and I'm cool with either. And I keep it pumping.
You are so good. I'm so deathly afraid.
I can't.
I get so super shy if I seriously, that's how you know that I'm really not interested in your brother. Cause like, if I was seriously, I would be a nervous wreck. I would be like, oh my God, girl, I can't even talk to him.
Listen, one of the first outings that Dr. H and I went on, we're sitting there talking because I can't flirt. So I'm like, man, you seem really like too good to be true. Why don't you have any children? Like, what is your story? What's your hang up? And he's looking at me like, what time is it? Because I have to get up early in the morning. I was just fumbling the ball because I was just like, so tell me more about your childhood traumas. And he was just like,
that's a little bit too much.
I dove head first. I mean, for various reasons, but I was just like, no, let's get all the bullshit out the way.
Get it out the way.
And he was just like, I'm taken aback now. I'm going to go home.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'll call you. He was like,
okay.
I can give you my Instagram. That was the start of our beautiful
DM me.
And here you are.
And here we are 7 years later.
That's awesome.
That's
8,
hilarious.
So don't give up.
Don't give up. What about you, CallMeNakomi?
Yes.
How are you as a flirt?
I'm a better flirt, writing wise, basically, to people rather than the actual first face to face. I'm very shy, basically, when it comes to that. Like I don't know. I'm weird. I'm a flirt too, kind of, where I give people compliments. I always give people compliments. If I see somebody walking around with some really cute shoes or the dress is banging, I'm just like, oh, I was like, that dress is great. Or your shoes are great. And male or female, I'll basically give compliments all day. But I'm weird that when I see that they're flirting back, I'm just like, okay, so great time to go to you. I'll talk to you later.
Abort.
Especially now that I'm married. It was even, I mean, it's bad. It was bad though when I was like single and I wouldn't even know that someone's trying to throw it at me, and because I'm just like,
Oh my
you
God,
think
I'm the
so?
same way.
Really, were they? And I'm just like,
Oh my God.
so that time when she basically just like ran as fast as she could to get in front of me and then switched her ass as fast as the person could possibly switch all the way back to our dorm. I was like, word, you think she was flirting? I missed it completely. So when people flirt back with me, I completely miss it. And I just basically give people compliments, and so basically they might misconstrue it as flirting, and maybe on some level it is flirting basically, but it's just me giving people compliments. I like to make people feel good about themselves, especially if they're, they doing their thing. They came in with some new sneakers. That's so hot. Oh, you got a nice jacket. Oh, that dress is killing it. Oh, so that's the kind of person I am.
But is that flirting? That's not flirting.
I personally don't consider it flirting, but it can be taken as flirting. And I've seen some really steamy looks come back the other direction because of it, basically. So I was like, okay, well, yes, I wasn't even trying. It was, but either way, when it does come back, I'm just like, oh, whoa, about face. So
right out the park.
I'm like, yeah. But I don't know. Aries, we're flirty anyway. We just basically can't help it, but make people feel, make them laugh, make them feel good, make them smile, and
Yeah, because I dole out compliments all the time. I'm
me too.
not flirting. When I
yeah.
flirt, I'm like, wow, my eyes find you attractive. Like, my vagina is twitching.
Hey, when it comes time for me to flirt, wow.
Sexually appeasing.
Wow.
I don't think I can ever. I can't tell anybody that. I have to already be in a sexual relationship. I cannot tell anybody that my vagina is twitching. Like, hey, do you know my vagina is twitching right now?
My clitoris is jumping because
my
you're in my
clitoris
presence.
is throbbing because of you.
Welcome to WoT In Color After Dark.
After dark.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
So
it's very crazy. I feel you on that.
How often does your clitoris twitch when you see land? All the time, girl.
Well, wait. Are we talking about land in the book or land yo? Because
well, baby,
I might have to be. I'm on the team.
I'm definitely team #team Lanyul. #team Lanyul. I'm with you. CallMeNakomi. I never know when somebody's flirting with me.
And
I'm like, no, they don't like me. They just being so nice.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
They just being so
It's my
nice.
fault too.
It's so late. Don't you have to sleep?
Right.
Don't you have an 8 o'clock class?
They're not trying to fuck.
That is my default. That is my
If
default.
I could go
they not down
back
to fuck.
in
They just
time, my God. When I was like,
I think I missed out on a couple of.
Was that what that was?
I definitely missed out on a couple of connections because I just didn't get it. It just went right over my head.
I think God
right?
saved me. I would have been a hoe.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's exactly what it was.
No, but
So what else
seriously,
you
if it came for me to actually flirt, or I see someone and I'm just like, they look like they're interested, they're looking at me, they smiling, my mind goes until they walk off the train, and then I'm just like, shit, I should have said this, I could have said that,
right.
it would have led me to saying this.
Yeah.
Damn.
All after the fact.
All after the fact. And I'm like, if I see her on the train again, I'm going to hit her with this. And I never see that chick ever again in my life.
Never again.
So who flirted first, you or your wife?
It depends on who you ask.
Oh no, not this episode of Martin.
Yeah, it is the episode of Martin when they all had different stories.
They all had different stories.
I swear, I reached out to her first on Black Planet.
Wow.
Black
Which one was it?
Yo,
This was a Black Planet connection.
So wait, do you know that if you've never
It's still there.
closed your Black Planet account, it's still there?
still there.
Didn't Solange
Yeah.
buy it or some crazy?
I
like
don't know,
that?
but you can log into Black Planet right now.
Oh my God.
I can't
Don't
remember.
get me
I'm
started.
pretty sure it's Black Planet, but
later.
it might have been something else come close to it. But I'm pretty sure it's Black Planet. That's the first thing that came to my mind. So I was moving to Atlanta, And basically, I was single for 2 years, thankfully, just basically clear all the space, figure out where I wanted to be, where I wanna be.
Listen, sweet
All
little
right,
diva, baby.
I know, Joe.
So I was just reaching out, putting out feelers here and there around Atlanta. And then basically, like I say, I like to write. So I just basically wrote messages to different people that I said, hey, I thought you're cute. Da, da, da. And so, but she likes to say that she saw me first and reached out to me first. And I'm just like, yeah, I kind of feel like I have the receipts because I printed out all of our messages and framed it for one of our anniversary gifts.
Oh my God, that's so super sweet.
That is really sweet. So y'all wasn't in there talking dirty because she got it framed. Because I wouldn't want that hanging in my living room.
Oh, not the first ones. It was maybe the first 10 messages back and forth. I mean, later on, it got a little bit more
low spicy,
Right.
low
What color
spicy.
your pants
more so
used to
just like
say?
getting to know you. Hey, how you doing? What do you want to do? Oh, you down here to do this? Oh, what did you do back in the place? Oh, where are you from? That kind of stuff, basically. Just kind of getting to know each other, basically. But we met online and then met in person. And she still likes to tell me about how I basically passed her up on our first meet, what was supposed to be our first meet, to go on a date with another girl that I was kind of talking to. And I was just like,
Oh,
it's a debatable conversation.
okay. Okay. That sounds
Let go
spicy.
of old shit. That's all I gotta say. Let go of old shit. Well, you gotta keep on
I
bringing
hear
up
that.
old shit.
Bringing up old shit for.
But yeah, flirting is something I'm not really great at unless I'm doing it without knowing.
All right. So we all agree that we all suck at flirting.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
That reminded me of something that I can't bring up yet. So, but go ahead. That's all you got for chapter 17? We ready to move on? Or you got more?
Yeah, of course. Well, of course.
But of course.
Where do I want to go to next?
What did you think about Moraine and Nynaeve doing the dance off on the dance floor to see which one lasts long?
Right. Well, I said that's very on brand. I didn't think Moraine. I didn't think that she would partake, but I don't know. It's real weird. She's just like, you want to compete, little girl? I can compete too. And it's like, man.
But does she ended up going to bed first?
Right.
Because Nynaeve was like, I'll sit out here all night.
Right.
Nynaeve's feet was probably hurting. Let's
you know her feet was hurting.
Her feet was hurting,
but
she
sucked it up though. She sucked it up.
No.
Nynaeve is a person that her feet, she'll be out hanging out and her feet will hurt and she will not take her shoes off.
No, Nynaeve is
she will suffer in silence and she'll be like, nope, because I'm cute in these, and I know these are 6-inch heels, but I'm cute and I'm not taking them off.
They ain't have BC
and my feet is on fire. I got all kind of corns and blisters.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping these 6-inch heels on.
These Louboutins, if you will.
Red
prancing around.
bottoms.
Prancing around. So one of the other things that really struck me in this chapter was the conversation between Nynaeve and Moraine as they were leaving Barrelon and realizing that the Stag and Lion was up in fire. And I wanted to talk about discernment and using discernment to decide when it's appropriate to help someone in need. And Nynaeve is discussing immediate help with dangerous consequences in the afterthought of it. Whereas Moraine is discussing long-term assistance with, immediate dire consequences. So I just wanted to get your perspective on who you thought was right in that. And I struggled with this a bit because I'm very much like, oh yeah, like shit, that inn is on fire right now. If you could just make yourself big again and get you some water real quick and just toss it on there and we could go on our way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like there were things that the Aes Sedai was just simply not considering because she already had her plan.
Okay.
In ways that they could offer immediate help. And on the other hand, I completely understand the Aes Sedai when she's just like, listen, I already knew that this bumbling fool was going to get himself into trouble. I already got some gold that's not traceable back to Tarvalon. Like, I already had the plan set because I knew, like she said this to Lan, like, he's a fool. He's not heeding my warnings. some shit's gonna go down and I'm gonna make sure he's good, but so she already had a plan in place, which kind of made her dismissive of Nynaeve being like, nah, I hear your plan and we should probably still do that, but they could die. And then what good would your golden coins be? And so I kind of struggled with those two arguments in that moment. And I think we even hear Rand, or was it Matt? It was one of the boys who was like, yeah, I think we should help now, and I wanted to ask, like, maybe not have you been in a situation like this, but when or how do you use discernment in deciding what's appropriate in a situation where, two things are true?
I think that, well, first of all, it's kind of difficult, I think, for both me and CallMeNakomi to take a stance because we've read this entire series, right? So we kind of know what's coming, and you know what I mean.
What's at
But
stake.
we know exactly what's at stake. But on the other hand, this reminds me of a situation. Not to say that the boys are and Egwene and Nynaeve that they're children, but it reminds me of a situation where you're in a situation but you don't have all the facts. And you're questioning everything. Why don't we do this and why don't we do that? When you don't know that the person who is kind of like in charge, so Moiraine and Lan, right? They have all the facts, right? So it's similar to if we're together and let's say you're in charge, right? And some shit is going down, but I don't have all the information, but you don't have time to explain it to me.
Right.
So you're like, Sharnice, pack your shit, let's go.
Yeah.
But if I sit there and say, but wait, why do I have to pack my shit now?
Right.
I have plans tomorrow. Don't I need to? Sharnice, shut the fuck up. Pack your shit and let's
that's
go.
That's probably exactly how I would say it too. Being very honest. Girl, if you don't shut the fuck up and let's go. Let's go.
You know what I mean? But if I leave now, I have this other obligation and this other person needs my help. Fuck them. You don't know everything. Let's go. It's a trust thing. It's a trust thing,
right? It depends on who this is. Who's giving the message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but if you ask me point blank, yeah, Moiraine was right.
Agreed. I mean,
but I can't say why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's kind of unfair.
Yeah, but from everything that they've
answer.
seen and gone through and realized what's going on and seen the numbers that the Dark One's forces have, I mean, yes, you feel for
enough.
him, but at the same time,
Winter Night would have been enough for me.
Yeah,
Winter Night would have been enough for me.
Yeah,
if I live in this small village, completely segregated from the rest of the world, and all of the scary monsters that were just fairy tales that I didn't even believe, like the boogeyman has come to life, right? When you little, you scared of the boogeyman, you hide under your covers.
Yeah.
Guess what? The boogeyman is real.
Yeah.
And his name is Narg, right? And while he may be smart, he'll also eat me.
A genius, if you will.
Okay.
Narg and Tupac down in Cuba.
A Rhodes Scholar.
Stay down in Cuba. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like at this point, you've seen more than just Winter Night. For me, not taking my knowledge of the series aside, if I was in this situation and I was with them and Moiraine was like, yo, we gotta bounce. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. They on fire. Where we going? We going this way?
All right.
Yeah.
Like I'm following the leader. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously she knows some shit. Especially the amount of times that she saved my fucking life.
Well,
literally.
So if we look at it from the perspective of Nynaeve, she hasn't seen anything but Winter Night.
Right. But Nynaeve is also very stubborn.
Yeah.
And headstrong.
Yes.
Nynaeve is you cannot easily sway Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Nynaeve is that's a whole different conversation.
Which is why I would like to change my prediction to say that she will not be the one sitting in the Amyrlin seat. It will be Egwene. I feel like maybe they will think about Nynaeve or maybe try to offer it to Nynaeve, and Nynaeve's gonna be like, bitch, I ain't sitting in that seat. No, thank you.
Okay, so Nynaeve will refuse the Amyrlin seat.
Yeah. I'm with that for now. And I think Egwene will definitely be the one to sit there.
Egwene will actually sit in the Amyrlin seat. Yeah. That's what you're saying.
Because those things don't appeal to Nynaeve. She doesn't care about those things. And so with Egwene, for somebody who desperately cares about those things, even
though Nynaeve is like a natural born leader and she's wisdom of her village and she became wisdom at a very young
She
age
doesn't.
and all
I
that.
don't think she's wisdom, and you're gonna put some respect on my name, but I don't think that's where her identity lies. I don't think much like Egwene, where her identity is tied to the things that she accomplishes.
Hmm.
I don't think it's like that with Nynaeve.
I see Nynaeve though as a very take charge kind of person.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that she's gonna get
She's gonna be
politics, right? I don't
Gotcha.
think she's gonna get elected to the seat.
Yeah, every person who takes charge doesn't need to be. Sorry.
Right. Just simply because she is stubborn. And somebody who sits in that seat, I'm going to assume, needs to be able to heed advice and directions. And, there's a council that you sit at the head, but there's a council that you work with.
The Hall of the Tower.
The Hall of the Tower. And so Nynaeve does not necessarily play well and work well with others right now.
True.
And I don't see that changing very much. It will change some when she gets that, that chakra opened, whichever one is blocked. But I don't see that changing. And so they will not quote unquote elect her, or she will refuse, or I just don't see her sitting in that seat now. I see her as somebody who's just very much like, that doesn't appeal to me. That means nothing to me. Like, if I can take charge over here, then I'll take charge over here because that's where the need is. And I'm going to go where the need is. Y'all don't need me over here. Y'all take Egwene. She loves this shit. Right? You use her. You can't use me.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, what else we got before we move on to chapter 18?
No, that was it for me on chapter 17.
All right. So you want to do chapter 18, CallMeNakomi?
Sure, no problem. Okay, so on to chapter 18, the Camelin Road. And the image for chapter 18 is a Trolloc skull with two other badges on the side that look like a trident and a horned fist, basically, that looks, pretty scary. Also, I forgot to mention what chapter 17's symbol was. It was the dragon's fang for chapter 17, Watchers and Hunters, which obviously is basically what gets drawn on houses when people get called dark friends or for dark friends. So, chapter 18, the Camelin Road. So they're continuing to travel on Camelin Road, and Rand thinks about how he remembered it on the old maps, heading across country and basically heading towards Whitebridge and the different rivers and hills around, basically. And Lan is still being diligent, keeping watch all around in different directions. And Nynaeve is starting to pass the time as they ride by giving the Aes Sedai advice on herbs and roots of how to wear away fatigue. But Moraine is basically like brushing her off and kind of like, okay. And then going back to whatever Lan is saying. So they're talking about, some tea would be nice. And Lan is just like, no fires. He's sure fade. And Trollocs are following them, and they would see it from the main road. And it's pretty deserted all around in this whole entire area with no farms. So they're pretty much kind of by themselves on this road. And Perrin is suggesting that why don't they get off-road? But Moraine says that it would slow them down if they were to go off the road. It's hills and different kind of terrain that they would have to pass. This is the fastest way for them to go, and it takes them directly to Whitebridge, which they need to be able to cross over the Arenal. Is that
I think it's the Arenal, the river.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and Tom is asking, what is to stop them from having someone already or something at Whitebridge waiting for them? No answer. A horn blows in the distance, and Rand thinks that the sound sounds like it's about 10 miles away or 10 miles back behind them, and they all get basically scared. They're kind of moving at a decent clip, not to tire the horses, but then they decide to start, speeding it up a little bit, basically, but continuing to go in the direction that they're going. And then more horns start to answer back when the horn blows again. And Lan decides to tell them to keep going in the direction, and he's going to go back to scout back west. And Moraine says, okay, we're going to keep going. And she says, the light go with you, the last lord of the Seven Towers. Yeah. And
hold on one second before you go on. Does that stand out to you?
The last lord of the seven towers.
That's what Maureen calls land.
I definitely highlighted it because what does that even mean?
Okay, so when we'll get back to it, we're gonna note that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, CallMeNakomi.
No, I had it highlighted myself. So as they ride, the horns sound closer and closer, and Nynaeve asks Moraine if they can ride faster, but Moraine thinks that it's a trick to push them towards something. And Rand has figured that they are now closer, like 5 miles away now, when Lan returns riding back. And he says there's about 3 to 5 fists and a half of Trollocs, and a half man rides in front of all of them. And that's so, i.e., that's about like 500 Trollocs that basically is in pursuit of them all around. And so Egwene is just like, oh my God, you went that close to be able to count. What if they followed you back? And Nynaeve is like, I'm sure he wasn't. He's good at what he does. Trust me, I know.
Girl, you better stand up for your man.
He know what he doing.
He know what
Don't
he
be
doing.
talking crazy about mine. All right.
So Moraine stopped to think for a while, wondering how the Trollocs have gotten there and this far, and so many. And Lan confirms that they are driving them forward, but towards what? They must go north or south. And south is barren with nowhere to cross the Taran River. And north, but if they go north, they can reach the Arenal River by night, and there will be trader boats around, hopefully.
Yeah, a chance.
There's a chance. There's a chance. Lan starts to mention a place, but Moraine stops him cold. They speak quietly to themselves for a while, and they all...
Hold on. I'm sorry. It's important to note, he mentions that this is a place that Trollocs will not go to.
Right. But she stops him before he can even go deep into it, basically. Mm-hmm. So, because she's just like, no, that's not an option. They speak quietly to themselves, and they are frightened. The others, basically, while they talk, they're all frightened, waiting as the horns blare until Moraines decide that they're going to go north. So they left the road and rode as fast as the land would allow. The horns grew closer and closer as they rode on, and Lan threw back his cloak, putting his hand on his sword, announcing that there are Trollocs nearby, probably scouts. They topped a hill and saw the Trollocs approaching, carrying poles tipped with ropes and hooks, and a Fade was at their head. The Trollocs charged, and Lan told them to stay close to him as he pulled his sword and charged down the hill. He shouted, "For the Seven Towers!" They all followed, and Rand had Tam's sword in his hand, and he shouted, Manetheren, Manetheren. And Perrin took it up also, Manetheren, Manetheren. And Matt shouted, Carian al Caldazar, Carian al Alessandra. And Lan went for the Fade, while the others fell on the Trollocs. Lan and the Fade fought as the others were surrounded. Rand looked for Egwene as he swung his sword, and Moraine set Trollocs afire all around her as Nynaeve and Egwene stayed close by, belt knives in hand. Hooks and ropes try to pull Rand off his horse. They try to do the same thing to Matt and Perrin. They got them by the legs and were trying to pull them off the horse. But it almost got them all off until it all stopped. The Trollocs began to scream and writhe on the floor in pain, and Rand looked around and saw the Murdral with no head still on the horse, swinging away with his sword at nothing. Tom mentions that it won't die until nightfall. At least that's what he heard. Lan shouted for them all to ride, and there were still Trollocs out there all around. Matt was the only one unhorsed at the time with a noose around his neck, and he threw it off and shuddered. They just reached another hill top to see another mass of Trollocs coming toward them with 3 Murdral at their head. Moraine climbed down from her horse and unwrapped the Angreal. Holding her staff in the other hand, she stabbed it down into the earth. The ground rang like an iron kettle struck with a mallet. It slowly faded away. The Trollocs stopped in the silence. Then the dull ring returned. It began a low rumble. Then the earth moaned. The earth quaked, but she and her staff didn't move. It rippled like a flapping sheet till it became waves of earth heading toward the Trollocs. They fell again and again, and the Murdral weren't affected. They approached. Moraine then created a long wall of fire separating them from the Trollocs as far as the eye can see. She was weakened at that channeling and almost collapsed if not for land. He put her on her horse and told them all to ride. The fire won't hold them forever. As they rode as quickly as they could, Nynaeve came up to help support Moraine in the saddle. A little while later, Nynaeve gave Moraine a packet of something, and she swallowed it down. And I'm like wondering, what exactly could that be? Is that cocaine?
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
I'm in love with the cocoa.
Okay.
Already trying to get Moraine hooked on that pipe.
Right.
But
not Moraine the crackhead. Wait a
minute now.
Nah. It's just, just to keep her pepped up a little bit, baby. Come on. They continued to ride for a time. Then again, Lan spoke quietly to Moraine. While they quietly argued, Egwene asked again, what was the boy shouting during the fight? They spoke about the story of Mornethrin during the journey, and Ren and Perrin said, we have a right. They fought the Dark One, and we are fighting the Dark One. She said no. She meant what Matt was shouting. He said he didn't remember, but she said that she kind of felt like she understood him for a second. And Moraine repeated what he said. Kari an Kaldazar, Kari an Alessanda. Yeah. For the honor of the red eagle, for the honor of the rose of the sun, the rose of the sun, the ancient war cry of Mornethrin, and of its last king. The Queen Aldraine was called the rose of the sun. The blood of Aemon's line is still strong in the Two Rivers. The old blood sings. Real quick, what did you think about that at all, Keba?
Prediction.
Okay, let me get my pen ready. Prediction.
So clearly Matt is some kind of, and I thought what Rand and Perrin thought. I thought that, okay, so Matt, maybe not that he's the one that the Trollocs are after, because that's clearly Rand, but he is like a direct lineage descendant of this king, and Egwene is somehow maybe a direct lineage descendant of the queen.
Who is this descendant of the queen?
Egwene,
okay.
Because she understood him. Everybody else was like, huh, what? But she was like, I think I understood you a little bit. Like, I think I caught what you were, I was picking up what you were putting down. And yeah, that spirit kind of jumped out of Matt. And so I think there's some direct lineage there with those two, which, makes me think about the Harry Potter effect, where, you have your main character and then you have the girl that everybody thinks that the main character is going to be with. And then right at the very end, the girl ends up with the best friend of the main character. I call that the Harry Potter effect. And so I think that is what's going to happen, which is going to gross me out as well. But so I think Matt and Egwene are going to end up together.
Matt and Egwene
are going to end up together.
Okay, I didn't like that one because Shar's face said no. Shar's face said no.
No. I'm trying to write it down.
I saw your nose crunch up. Like,
no, it didn't crunch up.
Yeah, okay.
No, because you know why? Because I want to say something. I want to remind you of something and I don't want to forget. So that's why I'm like, and I'm trying to, and I also want to write down your, are going to get.
Oh, I believe you.
Oh my gosh. Yo, you think I'm a dark friend.
I'm saying.
I hate that effect. I don't like it. I think it's dumb. But...
Okay.
I'm saying Matt could be a cat. You don't know what's going on with Matt.
You say
Matt could have perished right in that battle, and I would have been like, well, thank you, Matt.
We will miss you, but bye. We gotta go.
real quick before I forget. Okay, I want to go back to Min's visions. One of the things that the
crown. Yeah, one of the things in her vision was his crown.
Was whose crown? I'm talking about Matt right now.
Yeah, Matt. It was a crown and a dagger, right?
No.
Damn.
Okay. So I have it in front of me.
Okay.
One of the visions from Matt was a red eagle.
Oh, right.
And so now you have Matt yelling for the honor of the red eagle, but he's speaking in the old tongue and didn't even realize he's speaking in the old tongue. That was one of the visions from Matt. The other thing I wanted to go back to after you tell us what you think about that is in Min's vision, when she looked at Lan, she saw 7 ruined towers around his head. And you said that that meant that Lan is holding on to some historical thing that is affecting him in some way. And now, Moiraine, earlier in this chapter, when he left to go
Count
Trollocs, you know, she was like, something like, take care or be careful.
Right.
And she called him last lord of the 7 towers. What do you think about that? Min's vision said she saw 7 ruined towers. You said it means Lan is holding on to some historical thing that is affecting him in some way.
Yeah.
Moiraine calls him the last lord of the 7 towers.
So he's clearly been in battle. He has clearly lost some, 7 tower brothers, lords, if you will. And that he's the last surviving lord of the 7 towers. I think that was, a kind of telltale, I guess. Like, it was kind of spot on. Now,
Matt speaking the old tongue
was just, Matt's historical lineage coming out, peeking out. I don't know. I just kind of feel like in this world, so I believe this world deals in reincarnation, but I don't know if this world necessarily deals in the idea of spirits being able to control a body, but that,
like being possessed.
Right. But this could very well be something along those lines where it's like this spirit of this king, came into Matt's body in that moment to give him whatever courage or what have you needed to fight this battle. So it's something along those lines. But I do think that there is some kind. Maybe he is like the 300th grandchild of this king or something. I don't know, but there's definitely some direct lineage, some inheritance of a throne on Matt's end, if you will. Should that regime have stayed intact, he would have been an heir or to the rightful throne.
Okay. And Moiraine says the blood of the blood of Aemon's line is still strong in the 2 rivers. The old blood still sings. So
he's the old blood. That's him. That's him for sure. And Egwene too.
And I went back to
I was just saying, and Egwene too. Like the fact that she was the one who understood it, and nobody else even picked up on it. That to me was like, okay, so that's she down with the lineage too in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Okay.
Right. And I just went back to look to the, I don't know what chapter was this chapter, one of the early chapters, basically, when Moiraine basically told the story of Monethrin. And although Egwene, Aldrain, it's kind of hokey to say that it sounds alike, but it kind of doesn't sound alike. It kind of does sound like. But King Aemon, his name is Aemon Alcar Altharin, and Matt's name is Matt Cawthon. And I was thinking to myself, like, how names kind of change over the generations and different things like that. So Car Altharin, Cawthon, I was like, you never know, they might have some type of family lineage, but obviously he died, so I don't know if they had children or whatever, basically, but people got out, so the lineage definitely had a way of surviving all those years, and he very might well be a direct descendant of the king.
So. That's my prediction anyway. As asinine as that may be.
Nothing's asinine, no doubt. All right, so Tom says that he has never heard of anything like this before, and on another day he might have wrote a story about it. The Trolloc horns were approaching again. Lan tells Moiraine she isn't strong enough for what it is that she wants to do, and talks about somewhere where neither Trolloc nor Murdral will enter. She reluctantly agrees to go there. She called them all to get close, and then swung her staff over them, over and over them, and then sent their scent down west. So the Trollocs will follow it and give them some time. Give them some time. She told Lan to lead the way north again. Nynaeve stayed by the Aes Sedai's side to help her on the way. All the channeling she had done drained her, so she was basically holding on just barely in the saddle. They came upon a great city wall after a while, covered with vines and creepers all over. Rand was shocked by the size of the city and imagined that it would probably be 50 times the size of Barrelon, just to think of the scope of how big this city is. But there were no people, and the walls were all collapsing. Moraine said it was once called Arid Hall. In the days of the Trolloc Wars, which were 2,000 years ago, they were allies of Manetheren. Then Aaron Hall died, and it was called by another name. They entered through a gate that they thought was huge, so just added to the scope of this city. And they heard the horns again. Lan said that the Trollocs have discovered the trail was false, and they would be back on their trail soon. And as they entered, Matt asked again what was the name, and Moraine said Shadar Logoth. And that is the end of chapter 18.
And listen, the description just made me feel like I don't want to be in here.
I mean, if Trollocs or Murdral won't go.
How do we know that?
Moraine said.
Yeah, okay. But if we're going to question Moraine on everything else.
Just question on this too.
So, like, I need to understand what the proof is. What proof do you have that Trollocs and Murdrals will not, in fact, enter this place?
So let me ask you a question. Do you think they're going to enter this place? You think they're going to find them in this place?
I hope not. You know, I don't
I'm
know.
asking you to make a prediction.
So I
got my pen in my hand so I can write it down.
Let me see. I'll tell you the name of the next chapter.
I was going to say, don't look ahead.
No. I see it anyway when I'm turning the page.
But don't turn the page.
I don't read anything.
No, don't turn the page. Don't look at the title of the next chapter. Right now, with the knowledge that you have, do you think that they are safe in this place that Trollocs and Murdral won't enter?
No.
Do you think that Trollocs and Murdral will enter this place despite what Maureen said?
Yes.
Okay. I'm writing it down.
And I will say...
It's official now that I'm writing it down.
Yeah, because I'm not writing it down. No
backsies.
I think they will. And I think that'll cause a trust rift between Maureen and Lan and the others. A bigger rift, I guess, to say, than what's already there. Particularly with Nynaeve, who's already like, I don't trust y'all as far as I can throw y'all. But, you know, my whole goal is just get these kids back. So let's go complete your little mission so I can get these kids back. And so I feel like if Moraine is like, no, I'm telling you, I promise you, the Trollocs, the Murdrals, they not coming in here. They not coming. And then they come. I'm going to be like, well, you know what? Party done. We not. Done. Over. So let's forget your sacks.
Party
We're going
done.
back to Emmonsville right now.
Not forget your sacks, though. I can't take my sacks with me.
Nope. Leave them right where they are, baby, because you're lying.
My sacks got food in it, though. What if I get hungry?
We'll stop in Barrelon again.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a girl named Min.
Right. She'll help us out.
Cool.
She didn't die in the fire.
There's a bodega. Does it have a cat on the bread?
If it doesn't have a cat on the bread, then it's not a bodega.
Can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese?
Yes, period.
Bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a Arizona.
So what stood out to you?
A bagel with cream cheese and
cream cheese and jelly was definitely
missed that.
Toasted.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Toasted. So cinnamon.
Missed that.
Girl. Yes.
Cinnamon raisin bagel with cream cheese and jelly.
Let me get a cinnamon raisin bagel toasted with cream cheese and jelly.
And then a tea. I would get like a peppermint tea or something.
Peppermint tea.
Yeah.
No, that's high school, yo. That's
Coke.
high school.
High school.
That's the high school breakfast.
When I was still in New York.
On the way to school, you stopping at the corner store.
Every single morning.
And wow. Okay, we're not
Yeah,
old.
wow.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. Not me. I don't know what y'all said.
So what you think about this chapter?
So,
Chapter 18.
themes.
Camelin Road.
How have you dealt with being in a group when you felt your way of thinking and your opinions and your lifestyle weren't being honored or respected? And what makes me ask that question is Nynaeve being on this journey with them now and having this understanding of how nature works, right? Herbs. You tired, you take this herb. You nauseous, you take that herb.
And Maureen was
like, I'm an Aes Sedai, bitch. I don't need your little tree plants.
I'm an Aes Sedai.
You right. You can keep
or
your grass,
Advil.
honey. Like, I'm good. I heal with my hands through the one
Well, she can't heal herself though.
Yeah, right.
She can't heal herself.
But
and there's no other Aes Sedai around.
Dismissive.
She was very dismissive.
Nynaeve.
She was like, "That's nice. That's nice, sweetie."
Who was just simply trying to help.
That's cute,
right?
Your little plants.
Yeah, and so I was like, "That's kind of jacked up."
Herbs.
But it brings me back to situations where I'm in groups. Particularly, when we're in college, right? And
I hate group projects.
You're assigned to do a group project, and you're like, so boom, here's my idea. And they're like, yeah, that's cute. So we all got on FaceTime last night, and we decided to do this. But thank you so much. We'll let them know you participated. And it's like, but I have ideas too. Like, I want to contribute to the success of this project just as much as anybody else. And it's so frustrating, right? Like, so how did you guys handle situations like that, if you were even in situations like that?
I hate when Keba asks me a question on a spot like this.
Oh, damn. No more WoT In Color, guys. It's been fun.
I know, right?
We made it to 9.
Podcast over.
Right.
Party done. No, it kind of feels like when you know what you're talking about and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And they won't listen to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been in that situation. I can't think of a specific situation. What about you, CallMeNakomi?
I've been in the same position, and it sucks. In my current life, basically, if situations, as I got older, especially in college, when that kind of situation happened, if that situation happened, that's rude. Having a meeting behind someone's back and I'm not involved. I, after a while, stood up for myself a lot more and was just like, okay, yeah, so going forward, if you guys cannot do that, that would be very greatly appreciated. Or else I'm going to have to basically discuss what the rules and conduct of the groups are with the professor. So I kind of got like that a little bit older in my years, but before I used to take it and just take that frustration and it would melt me up inside and I hated it. But now, funny enough, when it happens in my professional career, it depends on the person basically doing it. If the person is lateral to me or below, I'm not the kind of person to be like, pull rank or something like that, basically. But I try to steer it towards, just saying, hey, let's all, be respectful of everyone's, ideas and be accepting. But if it's like a partner, I'm just like, that's not a hill I'm ready to die on. I'm just going to let them basically have it because vindictiveness does as vindictiveness does.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So it depends on where it's coming from. But yeah.
What about you?
It sucks.
Outside of the whole college situation, I haven't experienced that too much because I have learned and I'm learning, right, as I get older and become wiser, to go where you are appreciated. Go where your thoughts and your visions and your ideas and your lifestyle is not only just, tolerated, but appreciated. It's looked to. It's, accepted. It is, a contributing driving force to the success of whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. And so I noticed that I have minor, less and less experiences of going through a situation where I don't feel heard or I don't feel appreciated or I don't feel like I feel like an outcast or an outsider. And I think that's what's so really dope about this podcast because, we are all in a spot where we, are accepted and appreciated, and we're all working to move the mission and the goal of the podcast forward. And so it's these kinds of spaces that I have essentially cultivated in my life that kind of prevents me from dealing with I'm not being heard and I don't know what to do, or and even in my professional life, in terms of what I do for a living, I'm so disconnected from that work that it doesn't affect me in any kind of a negative way. Like, I'm here to do my job. I clock in, I clock out. I like my job. I like the people that I work with, and I go home. And, I contribute what I can, and they appreciate that. And where I cannot contribute, I don't. And that is also appreciated. And, it's just that kind of balance that we have created professionally that allows me to not have to feel unheard. So, I'm still learning, still growing, but also at the same time manifesting and cultivating spaces where I am celebrated and appreciated, and I will continue to do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So, Keba, you got any Sis Be Steadfast for us?
I do, because I didn't have one last week and I felt bad.
Okay.
So,
what you got?
Rain. Child. Hey, girl. I'm so sorry. It's one thing to have to deal with a bunch of smelly boys, but now having the additional headache of Nynaeve can't make things easier. So here's my advice to you. So you and I know that Nynaeve is special. You and I both know, thanks to Min, that she needs to be a part of this journey. And I understand that you have tried the woman-to-woman approach. Let's sit down, let's have a conversation. Let me tell you why we need to do things my way. You've tried that woman-to-woman approach with her, and it didn't work. But let's continue to give her grace. Let's be more open to understanding her, and that she has some things that are in her or around her and her heart or whatever part of her body that she hasn't found out how to work through yet. We both know that you know what needs to be completed, and I don't know how much of that you have shared or are willing to share with Nynaeve, but she is someone that requires some modicum of control and trust. So I would say give her some. It's easier to work with her than against her. Try the herbs, let her in, maybe even more so than you did Egwene. Allow her to feel like she has some sway in how things go, and continue to show her that you have everyone's best interest at heart. It's not easy now, but if you can work past her hard exterior, you will have a rider on your right with Lan, and you will have a rider on your left with Nynaeve. So just hang in there, sis. Let her in. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard, but let her in. Be more compassionate and graceful with her, and find a way to work with her as opposed to butting heads and being dismissive with her. And I think your journey to Tar Valon will be much easier if you take that path. And that's just my unsolicited advice.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, your face tells me that shit ain't happening, but
No, you gotta stop looking at my faces, because I was literally trying to hold in a belch. Like, I'm trying to make sure we don't have weird sounds on this podcast, and you looking at my face for confirmation of stuff, and it's not even there.
Well,
and me, I'm a bobblehead, so I'm just like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I got some melody playing in my head at all times.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my unsolicited advice to Moiraine, my sis be steadfast. I don't have a water and shade today. I feel like everyone in these past 2 chapters did what they could, even Matt.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything for anybody either. Yeah,
even Matt.
Her favorite.
And that took me a lot to say.
She hates Matt so much.
Barely.
Do you have anything? Any sis be steadfast or what in shade? CallMeNakomi? Yeah.
Who, me? No shade or steadfast. Basically, everything was great. Great, good chapters. I did want to shout some people out. Basically, you guys gave all shout outs.
Oh, wait,
and I'm just like, you know what? I wanted to
we definitely want to shout out some people. Before you do that, I want to know if Keba has any more predictions.
Yes. Let me run those through real quick.
Yeah.
So I said we will learn the truth about the Great Hunt and why Tom is obsessed with this story and what his connection is to it in the next book.
Yes.
Right? I think One of the three boys is related in some way to Blaze. Maybe Rand. I don't know. The Scarface stalker is a dark friend. I don't know about this whole spy for the Israelite whites. I think that's just a dark friend. Lan. Oh, here's the interesting thing. The boys were having a conversation about their dreams right after they left Barelon. And that was when Lan was keeping watch. He gave them like an hour to get some rest. And
Yeah, they had to sleep for an hour.
Right. He was like, I'll keep watch. But they decided to have a little whispering conversation as if Lan can't hear from miles and miles away. So he heard that whole conversation. And now he knows that the boys are having dreams, which means that Moiraine knows that the boys are having dreams. So Moiraine is fully aware that all three boys are having dreams, thanks to Lan and his supersonic hearing, and the fact that the boys can't follow directions and just simply go to sleep. I said Matt and Egwene are direct descendants from the king and queen of Menetherin, so they will probably end up together. Gross. Shadar Logoth is not a good place. and I think they will only encounter more Trollocs and Fades. It just looks really shady. And yeah, it just sounds shady as well. Yeah, and that was the end of my predictions.
Okay. As I jot these down, well, thank you for that. We look forward to seeing if these predictions come true. And next week, we will actually look at your stats again. I haven't updated.
I feel like I should be at least at a 75 right now.
Okay, we'll look at that next week.
Yeah, I only get better.
So with that,
We're
I just
sliding
want
into
to
our
say
meetups.
we can go ahead and shout some folks out.
Yes.
CallMeNakomi, you have some shout outs you want to make?
Yes.
Yeah, just real quick. There's a couple of people basically that I have been on their shows for in the past. I took a good year and a half hiatus from the community for a while just to gather myself and to improve myself. So, but I don't want to forget my day ones. The Innkeeper at the Dusty Wheel, Tracy and Amber at Road to Tarvalin. Been on a couple of their shows. Rob from Outcare Talks, my homeboy, and Wheel of Time Spoilers. I always loved being on the show. They were very fun, even at Jordan Con. Can't wait to see you guys again. And I was on the Will Reads once. I hope one day maybe I'll be able to come back again. That first time we had lots of different communication and recording issues, but hopefully one day. And I am still a fan of their show, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. So props to our community, basically. And also, I stan Matt and Egwene getting together. He gives her the best that he got.
Ew, yucky.
Y'all should see Keba's face.
He gives her life.
She
has dreams
dirty, grungy,
after that.
unkempt, greasy-haired.
She
She got
it.
different kinds of dreams now, huh?
I love it.
Yeah.
So those shout outs that you just made, we are definitely going to put the links in the description box. So definitely follow and,
Like and subscribe. Comment and share.
All of those things.
All the social media things. Y'all know what to do.
All the things. And definitely, if you are enjoying what you hear, please tell a friend. To tell a friend. Yeah, and rate us. Please rate our podcast. We want to hear from you. Slide in our DMs.
Yeah.
Let us know. Fill out that form that we have. Just check. The link will be in the description box to let us know what you all want to see as Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
And come hang out with us in Discord. We're usually in there chopping it up. So come chop it up with us. And as this episode will have aired right after Jordan Con, we hope everyone had a wonderful time. I know we did. Didn't happen yet, but I know that we did.
It's tingling.
Yes. My spidey senses are telling me that we had an amazing time, and they're also telling me that we met like some really dope people.
That's so Raven, baby.
So yes,
into the future.
Yes. So we're definitely excited, to see you all. And to fulfill that prophecy of the fact that we had a dope time at Jordan Con. And, next week we're going to be looking at chapters 19 and 20. And now you can look at the name.
Oh, now she wants me to.
Of the chapter. So chapters 19 is called
Now I don't want to
look at
do
the
it.
I know,
name.
right? Chapter
I wanna do it
19 is
now.
called Shadows Waiting, and chapter 20 is called Dust on the Wind.
Isn't
And
that
that's
the
it.
name of the song that Tom was performing? Dust on the Wind?
I don't,
The wind
yeah,
that
wind
shakes
that
the-
shakes the
There's a
world.
lot of wind going. There's a lot of
There
breeze.
is a lot of wind.
There's a lot
the
of wind.
beginning of the book talks about the wind.
The breezes. It's
Yeah.
breezy out there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's
breezy.
it.
Yes,
You have
happy
anything else?
Professional Admins Day.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
to shout out to the fellow administrative professionals out there who are making things happen. And that, if you are listening on air date April 26th, that's today. So shout out to you. You're the bomb. And in the meantime, right, you know where you can find us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. WoT In Color. That's WoTINCOLOR. To our international listener, friend listeners, there's no you. I learned that was an issue. So we just want to make sure we get the proper spelling. That's the WoT In Color, WoTINCOLOR. You can listen and subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, SoundCloud, Google, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon, and, you know, all the other girls by searching WoT In Color, one word. And you can chat with us in our Discord, Wang Dang Doodle, all the time. You can do that by clicking the link tree in our bio or in the description box below. And if you have any questions or you just want to send us a very lovely note, we take those too. You can send them to wotincolor@gmail.com. We over there too.
All right. And thank you all so much for listening to WoT In Color. Remember to come in love and go in peace.
And just don't let the wheel snatch your leg and pull you up off the horse on your way out.
Deuces.
Deuces.